Hello, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Julie.
So now we're going to do our review of Lost Cities, the card game. And this is part of our series of videos on games in the Lost Cities universe.
That's right.
Yes. And it's the reason why we're laughing, because I keep on thinking of different ways to call it in the other videos.
And I like the universe.
Yeah. So hopefully you've had a chance to check out our how to play and play through video. And there will be a video where we take a look at all four and tell you what our favorite is as well. So let's take a look at the back of the box to see if that helps us give us some context, and it's also an exercise in graphic design. All right, so it's a card game, and you're trying to score the most points, and it's a two-player game, and it is on the top 100 I think it's 100 or yeah, it is top 100 BGG list
On the family?
On family games.
Nice.
Yes. So you're going to have different suits, and you're going to play these cards in sequential order, going from 2 to 10. And if you play a 4, for instance, you can't play the 3 or 2. And we're both using the same deck to play cards. So the tension is, I don't know what Julie has, she doesn't know what I have, and should I start an expedition? Because if you start an expedition, you are automatically at -20. And so if I do end up playing, for instance, this yellow 7 in the Egypt expedition, which is off to the side here, I would be 7 minus 20, I'd be -13 points. So I better hope I get the 8 and the 9 to get positive. And see, it doesn't show you the wager cards.
Yeah, it does.
Where? Oh, right here. So
yeah.
Wager cards will give you multipliers, so you need to put those down first, but then it commits you to a _2 or ×3 or ×4 value. And if you don't get enough positive points, you could be, say you're -10 and you've got 2 wager cards, you'd be -10 times 3, -30 points.
Oh my goodness, that'd be awful.
And so you play until the deck runs out, and then you compare, and you can both go for the same expedition. So you're either going to draw a card that was discarded here in the center, or you draw blindly. So you're playing a card and then drawing from the center or drawing from the draw deck. And so it's quite simple in its execution, but the tension is you're basically playing from the same deck, and you're wondering, will I be able to make my expedition? Should I start it? And if I do start it, will I get enough cards to do well? And so we've owned the old Rio Grande version. We had even 2 copies because you were able to play with a 4-player version. You know why? So now you know why. Julie used to make fun of me when I do this, because every time I put a game away, I look at, okay, it has to be like this. Now, some gamers are type A about that. I'm one of them. So now, see, that's why I had it like this, because I was looking at the back of the box. So now you know why I do it.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, it's funny, because it gave me an opportunity.
Well, I just don't care.
Yeah, I know, but now you know why I care. Because now you saw what I did on camera. That's why I care. Anyway, so we've had 2 copies of the Rio Grande version because they had rules to play with 4 players. Mm-hmm. And then we got the 6-player deck to add not 6-player, to add a 6 expedition.
Right.
This version has, you can play the original 5 expedition or the 6 expeditions. It has another color. But the problem was those cards weren't cut the same way as the Rio Grande cards.
That's right.
So we give the copies to our sons, and we bought this new one.
Yes.
So they got our
Well,
hand.
it's kind of nice they each have a copy, though, for their own houses. So that's fine.
It's kind of like when we upgrade DVDs to Blu-rays and Blu-rays to 4Ks. Every Christmas, we give them a box, and they know what's in the box.
Yes, they do.
It's all the movies that we've
What's
upgraded.
in the box?
And then they roll a 20-sided dice, or any die that we have for that matter.
That's how we do Christmas around here.
And then they pick, okay, who gets first pick, and then they pick what movies they want.
Yes.
All right, so hey, that's just a little
They
tangent
also
there.
get real gifts, too, so.
Yes, they do. All right, so let's take a look at our...
Not just hand-me-downs.
So Julie comes up with her reasons separately from mine. She doesn't know what I'm going to say, and you'll find out what she's going to say right here. So
Okay.
Here we go.
Well, I find this to be a very fun 2-player game. I really enjoy it. It's just, I don't know, it's always been one of my favorites to play with him. It's very quick to play, and because we only play 1 round usually, which is so nice, because if we played all 3 rounds, I'd be half asleep during probably the beginning of the second.
Let me mention something about that. So on the How to Play, we play 1 round, and we kept track of our score in here, so when we go back to we can play a second or a third round. But typically you're supposed to play 3 rounds.
Right, and we just do one usually
Yeah.
because it's about all I can do in a sitting. In the beginning, I could do it all 3, but not lately. I think the art's really pretty. I like the bright colors. I like the designs on the cards. I think it's just really a good-looking card game. The cards are a really nice size. They fit nicely in your hand, and they're not, because you only can have 8 cards in your hand, so it's not obnoxious even for small little hands like
Yeah,
mine.
they're not tarot size cards.
But they're a good size.
Yeah, they're good size. So.
Yeah, you don't even need glasses to play with them, which is nice for me because I don't always like wearing my glasses. And the last thing, and this is just for me that's a negative, is the scoring can be very challenging. And that's just for me personally. I just have a very hard time wrapping my head around the hands that multiply things and the negatives and making things into positives. And it's just because of my condition I have. But thank goodness I have my calculator on my phone that will help me, or I have my amazing husband that will do it for me. But if I had to do it by myself, I would be like, I
Right,
lost.
that's the hardest thing to teach about this game because when I used to do professional developments on using games in the classroom, this is one game I would bring to use for math students. I mean, not math students, but to teach math skills.
Oh, okay.
And there were some teachers and administrators
Wow.
that had trouble understanding the scoring. It takes some practice to do it.
Well, I've had lots of practice and I still have a very
Right.
challenging
But that's the
time.
hardest part of this game is the scoring because
Yeah.
remember you start with -20 and you got to play cards in sequence. And then you got the multiplier, the wager cards. And then if you have 8 cards, you get bonus points.
Yeah, it's just
So-
too much. For me personally, it's just too much. For someone that's typical
Well,
brain, it'd be you.
hobby gamer, no problem.
Yeah,
But,
or a smart kid
but
could do it just like that.
when I used to do those professional developments, they weren't used to hobby games. So
Yeah.
again, they did get it, but that was the biggest hurdle to overcome.
Oh, it's
when
very
teaching the game.
challenging. Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look what I have to add.
Okay.
All right, so it's quick to play and set up. Nice filler of playing 1 round. So we both said the same thing about
Copycat.
1 round. Decent components and art said the same thing. See, so we're of 2 minds.
Well, after 25 years of marriage, I would hope so.
Yes, and 29 years
Of being together,
being together and knowing each other.
30 some years,
35 years.
a long time.
Yes, Anyway, I was going to say one of my
Don't
jokes.
just no. Just go to your next one,
Okay.
please.
There's a 6 expedition option. You can still play the original 5 expeditions, so that's nice. Now, it can be challenging to teach to inexperienced gamers, what I just said during your thing.
And I didn't know that about
because
that.
of the scoring.
Yeah,
Now, for me, it's frustrating luck mitigation. We used to play this a lot.
we did.
And then I was like, you know what? I got a bad hand, and I'm not getting good draws. I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
And unlike other card games or other games that involve dice rolling and things like that, there's not. I don't think there's any luck mitigation here at all. Because if I put down a card that Julie might want to use, then I just helped her.
Yeah.
And
That's
I
true.
might get lucky and draw something,
But
but I can get unlucky.
That's right.
So I think that it would be interesting if there would be a way to redesign this game with more up-to-date luck mitigation factors.
That'd be
I don't know.
interesting.
I don't know how you would do that,
I have no idea.
but that's big frustration for me, which is going to help you explain why I'm rated the way I do. And we use the BGG rating
Yes, we do.
to do that. So let's take a look here.
Okay.
So for me, because of that luck mitigation issues, I will play if I'm in the mood. And that's not as often as it used to be because of that issue.
Yeah.
And what about you?
I said it's good. I'm usually willing to play. I would have to play with someone like David or one of our boys, though, that have played it before and can help me with the scoring. I wouldn't be able to play with someone who's never played the game before.
Yeah.
I'd have to play with someone who's done this numerous times. But I do like it. I would be willing to play if he said, do you want to play 1 round? I'm like, sure, let's do it.
I could think of some people that we know that if you played it with them, you would have a hard time teaching it to them.
Oh, I would have extremely
Yes.
hard time.
And it's
I wouldn't be able to
just
do it.
because of the scoring. And I would have a hard time teaching it to them as well because they're just not used to the mathematics. Can be weird for some people.
Yeah.
Gee, what a surprise that a PhD in mathematics would design something that could be difficult for people to do the scoring. And some of you are thinking, oh, it's not that hard. You got to understand that not everybody is quantitatively, mathematically inclined, and so they need a lot of support. There's a reason why algebra is the course that is one of the biggest determinants as to who drops out of high school.
Yeah.
There's a correlation to those who drop out of high school. A lot of them have a disproportionate number of them have failed algebra.
I did pass algebra, you guys. I even passed college algebra in college. So
I'm just pointing out that's one of the courses that you can
I believe it.
connect to high school dropouts.
Yeah, I believe it.
And not saying that this is algebra,
No.
but it is definitely higher end of basic math with the
definitely.
negative numbers and the multipliers and doing that all correctly.
Yep.
And some of you might think I'm making a big deal of this. I'll have to, if you don't believe me, teach it to people that are not gamers.
Yep.
That are not necessarily the most mathematically inclined, and you'll see the struggle. Doesn't mean they can't get it eventually,
They will.
but it will require a lot of finessing to help them.
Oh, yeah. The first time out, they'll be like, what in the heck are we doing?
Right. Like I said, I was teaching people who are educators, and I had to provide they call it scaffolding. You got a lot of support to help them understand.
Okay, Mr. PhD.
Yeah, well, no, that's an educator term.
Yeah.
You didn't have to know that as in a doctorate program.
Oh, okay.
That's taught in undergraduate.
Well, not for my undergrad.
Well, that's fine. You're in speech therapy. They don't
True.
necessarily teach scaffolding in speech.
We teach
therapy.
other fun things.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why you watch us, right? Because we go off on these weird tangents.
We're just being us. I
Yes.
hope you guys have fun and laugh along with us and think we're funny.
Anyways, it said on the back here, 260,000 copies sold. I thought
That's
it'd be-
awesome.
I thought it'd be more than that by now.
Oh,
But that's
That's
look,
pretty
that's
good.
great. Don't
Yeah, that's really good.
That's a lot of copies, but I thought it would be even more. All right, so anyway, so that's Lost Cities, a card game.
We really appreciate you guys watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye-bye.